Good morning. Well, I promised it would start at 9-ish, and so it's a couple minutes after 9. And one of the things that we're going to chat about today is what's your word for the year. But before we start, I need to warn you, I seem to have myself a cold. So my deep, husky voice instead of my high-pitched voice is kind of what you're getting today. When I set out the Facebook post about what my context was for the year, what I found fascinating was so many of you private messaged me and text me and emailed me about, why do I have this and how did I come up with it and why is this important and how is it even different to New Year's resolutions? I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. At this time of year, our whole social media feed is flooded with people's New Year resolutions. And what I know about myself is that I start out great. Like I used to have these amazing New Year's resolutions. Hey, Mel, thank you for joining me before you go to bar class. It's so great to see you online. Love our bar free. But a lot what I find is these New Year's resolutions, the challenge with them is that they start really strong. There's this really bad piece of information that's out there, and it says this, that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. Well, that's not true. It's actually a lie. And like every motivational speaker, trainer, myself included, used to quote this and say it actually takes 21 days to make a new habit. And it's not true. The research that I could find says when I wrote my book, Attention Pays, it takes more than 63 days to form a new habit. So if you think about that, if you really want to be able to create something new in your life, to change a behavior, it's not 21 days. That's just rubbish. So stop saying that. It's over 60 days. That's 2 months. So here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking that maybe we could chat about what's your context for the year. So it's so fun to see some fun people like Pat has joined, Jennifer and Karen Roy. Oh my God, I love Karen Roy. It's so nice to see you guys on here. When I post this question on Facebook, what are you being intentional about for 2019? Mine was lean. Now, here's the thing about lean. Let me tell you why I chose this. And by the way, it rhymes. So hashtag lean 2019, which is, I'm not that clever to make it rhyme, but apparently that's what happened. And the reason I chose lean is for so many reasons. Now, physically, you may not know this about me if we haven't met in person, but I'm only 4'10". Oh, and a half. And that's really important. Except that when you're little, if you have even an extra pound on your body, then it shows. And I know it's vain and all of those things, but this year I have to lose 25 of those extra pounds that are not on my body. Well, they are on my body, but they shouldn't be on my body. So we're getting rid of them. So, hey, John and Richard, nice to see you guys. Let me know that you're here. So just put a little note in the comment or something so that I can see. Oh, Kelly's here. I want to talk about you, Kelly, as well. So lean to me is not just physicality. Yes, my body needs to change. And thank God I have a great trainer, Jennifer Jacobs, who runs J Method. And some of you may know her because she's also one of the most popular Peloton trainers. My gorgeous Michael Barber is here and Big Daddy is here. Hey, Sean, it's nice to see you. So lean to me is not just physical. Yes, I need to work out more. And the wonderful Michael Barber is one of my accountability partners, and Vina is one of my accountability partners, and Carrie, and we're doing this Peloton challenge together. But lean to me is also about really being super focused on who are you thinking about. Like for me, when I set the goal lean, it's not just about the physical, it's about spiritual. Like what am I paying attention to? How am I making sure I get rid of the distractions and the clutter? It's about relationships. I have so many amazing people in my life, but only so much time that I can spend with them. So for me, lean is also about getting rid of excess, meaning those relationships that I don't feel are really helping me get closer to this whole idea of being intentional. If you've got people in your life that there's this obligatory relationship you have, maybe it's time to kind of trim them this year and think about really investing with people you love. Now, Mel, for example, who's on the call, I had made a list of all these great words. Mel, your word, let me find it, my lovely Mel. Mel was light, and I love this word because Melanie was talking about lightness in so many ways, spiritually, relationally, and I love that she chose that word. And so when you think about the 5 categories that I set my word around, these are my 5 if you want to write them down, and I'll put them in the comments later on. Spiritual, whatever that means to you, meditation, walking, whatever your belief system is. Relational, meaning who are the people you really want to grow those intentional relationships with, and maybe who are the people you need to kind of just say goodbye to. Physical, obviously, I need to get lean and move my body a lot more and get it to a place where I feel super good in my skin. And financial, oh my gosh, I know how to make money. I'm great at making money, and I am fantastic at spending money. So this was a horrible learning. One of the things my husband and I did was we spent a whole day, like literally took a whole day to go through and create a personal budget for me and a professional budget for me. And because I run my own company, I love being on stage. I love being in boardrooms with my clients. I love working with people one-on-one, but I don't enjoy the business side of it, even though I know it's the only way I'm going to get to be on stage and in boardrooms with clients. So for me, lean was all about getting rid of unnecessary expenditure. It was about changing vendors. It was about reducing time. And it was about saying, do I really need this? Is this investment really going to help me advance my goals? So when's the last time you set a budget? I mean, I'm like 40 plus years old, and I wasn't operating within a really great budget. And I'm kind of embarrassed about that. And that's not a fabulous thing to admit publicly, but it's true. And I love life. I love things. I love celebrating. And I love money. And here's my thought around money. The more money you make, the more money you can give away. If you don't want it, just give it to someone else. And so what I believe is money just gives you choices. And so for me, being lean around money was also about making sure that I'm generously donating to the things that are most important to me. I don't know about you, but do you ever you go to the supermarket and they say, do you want to donate to this cause? Or you're walking on the street and someone wants a donation. I would be super deliberate in where I'm investing my resources and know how are they using their money and how can I advance some of those causes in the world. The fifth area that I set my contextual word in is educational. So for me, I love to read. I give away hundreds of books a year because my philosophy is often I'll get a book, read it, and then give it to someone else. Because what I realize is I don't have space in my home for the kind of library that I'd like to create. And so for me, lean is also about making sure I'm reading at least one book a week. And while that may sound ridiculous, I think we could spend a lot more time reading than watching TV or surfing, or not like surfing as in Hawaii surfing, as in internet surfing, but social media, all of these things that are fun and great distractions, but not always helpful around, getting you closer to your goals. So 5 areas to write down: spiritual, relational, physical, financial, and educational. So Michael is a dear friend, one of my absolute loves in the world. And he's saying that just going through this exercise, which I'm kind of assuming you mean budgeting, is awful. And it is a smack in the face, he says. And so, yeah, the whole budget thing, money is a funny thing we never talk about. And yet we should. I think it's something that's really important. So there's some people on the line. I want to share with you a couple of people that I really love, and that is Kelly's on the line. Kelly and I work together in the pharmaceutical industry. She's a rock star, brilliant. She's also the person who ran my very, very first 5K with, and I looked dreadful, but she got up stupid early, stayed in my house, walked me through the whole process. I thought it was the biggest deal in the world, and she was amazing. But Kelly also, not only is she a fabulous friend and a rock star at what she does, her word for the year is healthy. So I thought that was a really cool context. And she found these little bracelets where you can have your word stamped on them. So cool. Mike Steve is on the line, and Mike is a phenomenal speaker, genius. I've served on a board with him. If you've ever seen him speak, you know that he kills it in a room. Not kills it, but that's an awful phrase. He crushes it in a room. It's also not a good phrase. He's exceptional. And Mike and I were talking, and his word was clarity. And I love this. Not only did he take the word, but then he incorporated it in everything. What was also cool about Mike is he took it a step further. He then posted his word on his Facebook page, and it kind of had this great opportunity to allow others to uncover their word. So here's my challenge to you. How willing are you to share your word? With me here, I'd love to see your word if you haven't already shared it with me. And I would love for you to think about, how do you incorporate this word kind of every day? So Neen 2019. I love the little hashtag. It's going to be a new hashtag. But for me, it's also helping me choose the way that I eat, choose the way I invest my time, choose how I spend my time on social media, choose where I spend my money. And this month is dry January. Ugh, I hate dry January. But I had very excessive September, October, November, December. And so as a result, dry January, if you don't know what that is a choice about not putting any champagne in my body, which is a big decision. But what I figure is the payoff will be significant. significant. So what's your word and how are you using it? I'd love to know how you're using it. Jenny is one of my CEOs from a credit union, and Jenny's word was around priority and priorities. And as a CEO in a large organization with lots of people who look to her for advice, she was about prioritizing not just the business, but personally. This is a woman who has lost a huge amount of weight because she focused on herself and she made herself a priority. You know, I talk about intentional attention. So some of you know, if you don't already, I wrote a book called Attention Pays. And the whole premise of the book is about being intentional with your attention. What I was fascinated with when I asked you on Facebook what the word is, there were so many words like clarity might came up several times. My friend Dave Yoho also had clarity. Focus came up for people like Mina, and I wrote it down like 10 times. Michael Goldberg, that was his word as well. Discipline was another word that came up quite a little bit as well. And Donna, one of the realtors in my area, was talking about this whole idea of discipline around not just physically, but also, you know, the choices that we're making around how we're spending our time. So thank you to Karen and David who've joined us, and for all your fabulous comments. John, it's so lovely to see you. I've got some of my HR friends who are watching. If you're watching this after the time we do live together, which seems like lots of people do that, write down your word for me. So here's what we're talking about. What's your word? Now, David is asking, can it be lean Neen instead of lean Neen, which is like L-E-E-N. Janine Garner, who is a friend of mine in Australia, she's a great speaker, phenomenal chick. Her word was fly. And I love Janine for lots of different reasons, but I thought this was a really powerful word. Like, it gives you that freedom, that ability to soar above everything. And so I thought that was really cool. And Janine's like, she's a cool chick. She spells her name the same way as me. Did you know that was my real name? I don't know if you knew that. That's like my real name. Janine, that's what Neen is short for. So in our time together, what I'd love to do is a couple of things. One, what's your word? And tell me why you chose that word. And two, what can you do with that word? So can you make a post about it on Instagram? Or could you write something about it on Facebook? Or could you send me a note and tell me how it's going to apply in your life? For me, the reason I keep looking up is I have my goals above my desk. And so what I always do is this practice of writing out, here's what's important to me, and here's my context for the year. You know that it's lean. And then under those 5 areas, what are some very specific goals? So for example, spiritual, what I wrote was, to me, that's all about being mindful. And so whatever your beliefs are or how you like to show up in your spirituality. And so for me, I want to develop a yoga practice. I have this incredible friend called Leslie Henry, who is an incredibly talented teacher. She's a professor at Elon University. She is also married to my friend Patrick Henry. But Leslie got into yoga a couple of years ago, and she's just phenomenal, and it's so transformed her. And so I want to develop a daily, maybe not daily, that's too ambitious. I want to do yoga a couple of times a week. And the good thing about Peloton, if you don't know about Peloton, then we haven't spent much time together. Peloton is my bike that I'm obsessed with, and Peloton has created this community where they have not just a bike. And so several of my friends like Laura, Vin, Michael, and I are all in this challenge with Carrie Lorenz to do like 30 days in January on a Peloton bike. But it also has all kinds of different things. It has a treadmill, it has yoga and stretching and boxing and cardio and so many different things. So it's really fun to see my gorgeous Erin, who is a West Coast girl, who is on the line too. And Erin, I would love you to share your word, whatever your word is. Karen, I love that you said your word is care. And I'd love to know how that's going to show up and how are you going to do that. Care to me is not just caring about other people, but I think it's self-care as well. One of the hugest realizations I had when I was doing the research for my book, Attention Pays. Some of you know I also wrote a book called Folding Time. In Folding Time, one of the most popular things I would share in my keynote, and it still gets quoted today, is how do you say no? Like, how do you say no nicely? How do you say no to the people in your life? How do you say no to obligations? And we have this really simple process. And in my office, the team knows, especially when I'm traveling, because I spend most of my time on planes. I mean, I get paid to travel, kind of. And one of the things we know as a rule in my office is, especially when I'm busy, look, busy is a really awful word, especially when I'm at capacity, we have this phrase that says, it's pretty genius, it's not yes, it's no. And I know that sounds crazy, but you may want to write that down. If it's not yes, it's no. And here's what I mean by that. If your instant reaction to the question, invitation, obligation, project is not yes, then it's no. And here's why I think this is important. We have to really focus the attention we have and the time that we've given on this planet. And so for me, if my instant reaction is not yes, then it's no. And here's why this is a really helpful filtering system. Because we spend a whole lot of time in the gray. Does anyone else do that? Like, what do I mean by that? Say, for example, you get an invitation for a party. You don't really want to go, but you don't want to hurt the person's feelings. And so you don't reply for a while, and they keep thinking about it. And then you think, oh, I should go. I don't really want to go. I'd rather be on the couch, or whatever you'd rather do. And I think that it is so much more impactful just to say no to the invitation immediately. So if you don't know how to say no to an invitation, let me give you the way I do it. I might say, let's just say Erin invited me to a party because she and I love to drink champagne together. But not that I'd say no to her. But if she was my person I was going to say no to, I would say something like, thank you so much for your invitation. I appreciate you thinking of me. Have a great time. No, that's no, I'm not going. But I think we have to just declare we can't meet the obligation. We can't be on the meeting. We can't join the project. We can't do the event. And I think the reason we have to say no is so we can say yes to what matters. So for me, lean is also about saying no. There was this conversation yesterday that got started. Is an example of how it manifested in my life. Yesterday, I got tagged in a post, and it was something that was happening in my industry, and it was something that people did not appreciate, and my photo was part of it. And I got tagged initially, and then I started to go down this little rabbit hole of, hey, that's not cool. I didn't really agree with that. And I reached out to a girlfriend and said, hey, what do you think about this? And she said, you should post it on a Facebook group. That's pretty sound advice. And then I went to write the post, and I thought to myself, hold on a second, this is crazy. This is a total waste of my time. It's a total waste of my mental energy. It's a waste of other people's time. And I'm going to distract them by asking their opinion about something that's not really going to change anything. So then what was fascinating to me is other people did post, and it created all these conversations. And I watched this one particular person in my industry spend hours all day obsessed with this crazy post. Here's my point. I could have gone down the rabbit hole. I could have engaged in the conversation. I could have commented. But that doesn't help me achieve lean need. That does not give me the positive mental space that I need to achieve my goals. So instead, I just switched everything off, and I wrote some new focus areas for one of my clients. So I wonder how easily you get distracted. And I think what happens is we set these goals. We're so excited for January. We have New Year's resolutions, or maybe we have a contextual word. And what happens is we get off track. We get distracted. We play on social media. We don't commit to our goals. So here's what I want to challenge you to do. Write your word in here. I love that you guys are doing it. Oh my gosh, Stu, you're online. It's so, I shouldn't say on the line. I don't even know what that is. You're online. I love that that's what Stu does. I have the privilege of serving Stu's community in the gorgeous part of the world later in the spring. So I'm excited about that. So one of the things I want you to think about is, what's your word? Post it here and let's chat about it. 2, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to make it show up in the world? Meaning, are you going to declare it? Are you publicly going to hold yourself accountable for it? See, my belief is public accountability drives private accountability. Part of me losing this weight is telling my friend Michael, by the way, here's it. And not only that, I also have taken a photo of the scales, which is the worst thing in the world. And I don't know why we don't talk about stuff like this. I only hear about people's weight loss journey once they've done everything, right? You don't hear where they start. And so I'm telling you, this is like part of my journey this year. For those of you who followed along when I decided stupidly to take up running, and I'd never run before, but did my first 5K and then my first marathon, like a full marathon, like a real one, within 5 months, which was stupid, by the way. Don't do that. But because I declared it and I held myself accountable, I made it public. I hired a coach to help me. I had friends who supported me. I had a husband who was insanely generous and handled all my meltdowns. So maybe this year, try something new. Maybe consider find a word, share it, and find an accountability partner, someone who can help you integrate this word into your everyday. And then maybe think about setting it across kind of maybe 5 different areas. And so remember, those 5 areas are spiritual, relational, physical, financial, and educational. Hey, it's so fun to see so many of you who joined. Mark Bowden, who is genius and like crazy good on stage. I had the privilege of watching Mark recently when I was in Toronto with some friends. And if you don't know Mark Bowden, definitely check him out. He has a phenomenal body of work, and True Plain is one of his pieces of work. But he is truly one of the world's leading experts when it comes to body language. So I wonder what my hands are telling you now, Mark. Thank you, Sylvie, for joining as well. If you don't know Sylvie Dugusto, she is also a great friend who is incredible in the world of brand and image. Online, I don't know why I keep saying that. There are so many fun clients. Thank you to the HR leaders and the people from Comcast and all of you that are on the line. I appreciate it. Online, why do I keep saying that? It sounds ridiculous. A couple of words that really stood out to me just before I finish up our time together. And I love that Mike Walter, who is a phenomenal entertainer and DJ, he and my friend Martello are 2 amazingly fit, incredible humans. And what was interesting about Mike's word, it was fitness for the year. So I think that's really interesting. Sometimes you look at people and think, well, they have it all together, and they do, but he also said he wanted to even recommit to that. Some people had phrases for their word, which I thought was really cool. Martello's word was deliberate creation, and I thought that was really neat. So there's some people that I also loved. Jeffrey Shaw, who is a great speaker and phenomenally talented photographer, his word was believe, and I thought that was really neat. So anyway, you can see I made lists of everyone's words. A couple of ways to make your words come to life. Create goals around them, those 5 areas. In Kelly's case, she generously got us a little bracelet, which is going to have the word on it, which I love that. Make your goals, maybe print them out. Mine are above my desk so that I see them, and I took a photo of them and carry them in my phone as well, so I can always be reminded of them. And then declare them. Tell someone what your context is. The reason one word makes sense to me is because there are so many incredible distractions that we are surrounded by. My one word becomes a decision filtering system, meaning for me this year, one of the questions will be, does this help me achieve lean? Does the food that I'm eating, the relationships I'm in, the social media time I'm spending, the meetings that I'm in, the travel that I'm going to, the adventures that I will plan, will they help me achieve those goals in those 5 areas? So if you haven't done it already, it's not too late. We've only just started January. So what I'd like you to do is declare your word, share it with an accountability partner, and then see if you can translate it into those 5 areas. If I can help you in any way, please do reach out to me and let me know. If we're not connected on all the other social channels, I don't spend as much time on Facebook as I probably should or could, but I do love Instagram. So if you want to follow my adventures, come across and join me on Instagram. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, that's crazy. We should definitely do that. Please also comment on other people's posts here. If there's a word that you love or resonated with you, please do take a moment to do that. Karen, I love your word is purpose. That is so, so perfect for you. Thank you for joining me today. It's been fun just to chat and hang out. I will go in and comment on all of your fabulous things that you said. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching this after the event, my goodness, you got 25 minutes into it. I am absolutely impressed. So post your word, share it, make yourself accountable, and then find a way to incorporate it in those 5 areas. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the hearts and the comments and joining me in crazy time zones wherever you are in the world. I really appreciate it. Wherever you are, remember today to really give someone your attention. Now that someone might be you, or maybe it's someone you share your life with. Maybe it's someone who's going to come into your office. But today I want you to really think about who deserves your attention and spend some time doing that. Thank you for joining me. Have the most amazing day, and I'll see you again soon.